Hey everybody, hope you're okay out there and surviving this very powerful weather we're having and the impact it's having on a lot of people at the moment emotionally. We've got supercharged energy going on around us astrologically at the moment as we're coming out of Snake into the Horse Year. We're not quite there yet in Chinese astrology, but we're nearly there, so it's the final push. And I've noticed a lot of people carrying a lot of guilt, and that's something I've always carried and struggled with as well. And guilt is a really insidious emotion. It's an important one because it can test our moral compass, because sometimes guilt has been accrued because maybe we have done something, said something, been something that might have impacted others or we might regret. The problem with guilt is it's quite a trap. We can get stuck there forever and a day, and if we drop down into the energy of guilt and stay there, we're operating from a vibration of emotion that's really quite low, and it impacts the filters that we view everything through. So if we're stuck in guilt for too long, not only does it hit our personal emotional vibration and our physical body, it can impact how we're relating to others. It can impact the decisions we're making. It can impact how we're going forward, because with guilt it can take us off our path. Because if we're sitting in feeling bad about ourselves, if it's then eroding our self-esteem and confidence, and we start to feel not good enough, or that we're always automatically to blame, or we're punishing ourselves, or even being punished by others forever and a day for our guilt, where do we go with that? How do we grow? And how much does that impact our happiness? And how much does it challenge what we allow ourselves to strive for in life, because we might feel that we deserve to be punished forever? So guilt is a really important emotion. It's a very human emotion. We do touch in guilt, but if we can afford to reflect on guilt from the right place, we can challenge guilt, we can look deeply at it. But there's huge amounts of growth to come from guilt, but we have to be eyes on it in a clear way. We have to have an honest clarity on guilt, because we can easily slip into guilt where it's not due. We can easily take on other people's guilt. We can easily then slip into self-punishment, where we stay there for so long that we let opportunities pass us by, we let people pass us by, we shame ourselves, we put ourselves last, we demonize ourselves. And guilt is one of the most painful emotions in the heart that we can carry. So a little bit of healthy guilt can be really healthy. It can teach us something, like, oh, maybe I won't do that again, or maybe I'll reflect on how I've just behaved. But other forms of guilt can become toxic guilt, which also becomes toxic shame, and it is deeply destructive to self, and it'll have a knock-on effect to others. If you're feeling guilt because you feel you've done something wrong, and that you're hinging your recovery from guilt on somebody forgiving you or somebody letting you off the hook, you're looking in the wrong place, because that may never come. We can't waste our lives waiting for that. So looking at guilt in a healthy way is, where can I learn from this? What can I do to make it right with myself and whatever the situation is, without it depending on somebody else maybe forgiving us, because we may never get that from them. What do we do then? Guilt is a trap, but it's also a huge recovery as well, if you can work out how to overcome it, because you'll come out of it the other end a very different person from who you were before, in a really good way, if you can learn to navigate the guilt trap well. We are human, we make mistakes, we might make them a few times. We are allowed to let ourselves out of that at some points, when it's all about self-reflection. It's about our healing work. What did I learn from that? Where do I need to make amends? Where can I make amends? Where can't I make amends? And what do I do with that? Rather than just sitting in that well of grief and getting stuck there. Hope that makes some sense for you, and have a wonderful weekend.